This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunty, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
Evening, welcome back to the Super Series pool here on Freesports Live once again with another quarter-final. This time it's the Shootout King in action as Jordan Shepherd takes on Alex O Donoghue. A great night in store. Let's hear from both players.
Alex, great to have you back here at the Super Series. Very tough match in your last round and another tough match on paper.
Yeah, I mean it was a tough game against Gav, but obviously Sheppy is one of the favourites to win the event, and it's going to be a great game. Really enjoyed playing him.
Jordan, great to have you back here at the Super Series. Before we talk about tonight's match, I want to just touch on your last round. I've seen some brilliant performances from you here on Freesports, but it felt special in your last round. It really was a high performance.
Yeah, played really good actually. Was not really surprised, but more than happy. Yeah, the way I played, and can't remember really missing anything stupid, you know.
A player you played a few times before and you've had success against?
Yeah, I've got a really good record against him. Just I think his style sort of suits my game, but obviously this is a different format. This is his format, so we'll see how tonight goes.
In normal tournaments, you would be able to get on a roll and play your next round fairly quickly. This is different. You know, you had to wait a couple of weeks for this next round. Is that been different to prepare for?
No, I've still played quite a bit actually. So just one of them, and I knew from the start it'd be dragged over a few months really. So it's one of them you just kind of get yourself ready for it.
The clubs have now opened. Have you been able to put a bit more practice in? Obviously you won't be able to practice before the previous round.
Yeah, I mean I'm really lucky. The 147 club in Swindon, they've had a massive refurb. It's in incredible shape. The tables are beautiful, so I've had a full week and a half probably practice. Yeah.
Wish you the best of luck tonight.
Cheers, thanks so much.
And thoughts on your opponent tonight? Alex, a very tough player.
Yeah, he's beat me a couple of times. He just reminded me again there. But yeah, the format suits me down to the ground, so we'll see. Just hopefully break okay and get enough fair chances, and then we'll see how we go.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, those are our two players. Here are your two commentators, Stephen James and Simon Webb, with you once again here for the Super Series pool. Simon, really nice to hear from both of our players tonight. Jordan Shepherd, of course, not just the standout player probably in the tournament so far, but in this form of the game so far has been brilliant. What makes him so good to watch for our viewers tonight?
Well, one of the big differences in this form of the game is the speed it's played at. The shot clock is cut down to 15 seconds for the second half of each set, and Jordan is well known as one of the quickest players on the tour, and that's, you know, it's almost a perfect fit for him. He doesn't have to adapt his game, he doesn't have to change, and he is one of the best players in the world, you know, and then you put the speed he plays at on top of it, you know, he's owned this event so far. But he's up against Alex, and they touched on it in their interview. There's a little bit of banter flying around before this match tonight. You know, Alex reminded him that he's had a couple of victories over him, and Jordan was kind of having the needle back, saying, well mate, tonight's a different story. So look forward to seeing how both players get on.
Yeah, we're currently watching the lag between the two players. This will decide who breaks first, and that looks like it's going to be Jordan pretty comfortably. But a great opportunity here for Alex, because the pressure's not off him in a sense. He's a very, very fine player in his own right. This is by no means expected to be a possession. But Jordan Shepherd does come into this as the favourite. He always will in this form of the game. Do you think a bit of pressure off Alex will sort of help him?
I suspect he puts the pressure on himself to perform well and to play well. I think Alex comes into this, he's got that good success against Jordan, and he's coming in and quietly confident that he's going to win this match. But I agree with you, there's no outside pressure. Everybody else in the world of pool is just expecting Jordan to win, because that's what he does in this form of the game, but time will tell.
Well, it's coming up for you on Freesports. We cannot wait for this one. Super Series quarter-final, Shepherd versus O'Donoghue is next. Welcome back to Freesports. It's Super Series time. Quarter-final stages, Alex O Donoghue against Jordan Shepherd here in the Super Series Shootout. And it should be an absolute belter. We've been waiting for this one since Jordan Shepherd qualified a couple of weeks ago. It's the Welsh Wizard who has the first break of the quarter-final. That was pretty well. A couple of balls down immediately in the bottom pockets. And what can the Welsh Wizard conjure with his first break of the match? He's in amongst the balls. Wasn't, ironically, his best break. Not the greatest explosion from the pack, but already he's having an eye up at this table, and aggressive tendencies exist within Paul, but I think there's many more aggressive than this man right here.
Yeah, you're quite right. He really is one of the most aggressive players in the world, and he gets rewarded for that. Wins trophies when he plays well. He's very hard to beat. I touched on that this is a format that is just tailor-made for him. He doesn't have to adjust his style. He plays very quickly, just naturally, and he is absolutely one of the best players in the world, and in this format he is the best. It's looked a tricky layout when we saw the split. It didn't really open up, as you mentioned, as well as he would have wanted, although he did make a ball and he'd be happy with that. But 2-3 pots later, it looks routine for him. Just has to squeeze by the yellow and black, possibly through the gap of them. Not ideal. Almost has to take the red to the right centre first. He just has to make sure he can get past the yellow and the black. And any shot on the red in the middle of the table, and it should be plain sailing. The problem he's got, if he tries to play into the well, he's going to go the other way because it's tricky. Oh, he's going to snooker himself.
He's not happy.
I'm out, please.
Let's see the reaction of Jordan down the bottom of the screen. It was in theory the safer shot.
Let's just see what happens to the white here. He's not happy with the way it rolls, but it looked like it comes straight down the table from the replay. So not sure what he was concerned about. He has put himself in trouble.
Can he get out of trouble? Very nearly. Very nearly. On a chance then for Alex O Donoghue.
As so often happens in pool at the top level, you get all the way through your visit to your last ball and miss. You are a big second favourite for that frame, and that's exactly what's happened here. I mentioned it in the build-up. Alex has got a good record against Jordan. Had good success. In fact, I don't think Jordan's beaten him. Alex is very aware of that. In fact, Sheffield's very aware of that as well.
Be a good chance here as well. I was finding the first frame. If you don't break first, this is a real bonus frame for Alex O Donoghue. He didn't have the break, hasn't had a shot yet until Jordan made the error. And as a way of getting yourself into the match, having 6 yellows on the table with precious little company is a pretty good way of doing so. And it allows a shot like this, which was a little bit loose, but no traffic. He's got a way of recovering it. So 2 away from a 1-frame lead. And there should be a pretty routine one for Alex here. It's good clearance.
Right.
And the perfect start for Alex O Donoghue.
A real settler, and this was the turning point. Jordan's got plenty of room to try and land on the red below the black as we look from the overhead on replay. Ideally, he'd like to have taken the one below the black first, but he was concerned that he would flick into the yellow and snooker himself. So he's gone the other way where he feels he's got more margin for error. And you watch the white coming down the table, gets hidden by the yellow, and that has cost him the frame.
Second frame, Alex O Donoghue to break, leading 1-0. Time running.
And for those unfamiliar with the shootout format, we have a half-an-hour set clock. Whatever the score is in frames at the end of that half an hour, the leader will win the set. Failing that, whoever gets to 5 first, whichever one comes first, we will take that result. And these two are pretty speedy players. I'd be surprised if we see a few sets that don't go the distance.
Couldn't ask for much better. Great opportunity to go 2-0 ahead. A bonus chance in the opening frame. He would have been sat there thinking, well, Jordan's going to clear these up. Gets the opportunity, and now he's going to do it on his side of the table.
It's a really good break from Alex, actually. Couldn't have really wished for a better split. Couldn't have wished really for a better start. As things go right now. Really back him to go into a 2-0 lead here, and whilst that is absolutely by no means set over. It's a great start, especially considering the position that Jordan was in a few minutes ago.
Just slightly awkward with where he had to put his hand on the table there, but no problems, made the pot. Good position.
Another routine final ball. This for 2-0. No problem.
Frame.
Perfect start for Alex O Donoghue. 2-zip. He leads in this first set. A reminder of our rules tonight. Black ball rules mean that a ball must hit the cushion after contact every single shot, unless in the event of a snooker. A foul will draw not 2 shots. 2 shots don't carry. All those rules, you can forget about them. We keep it simple in black ball. It's 1 free shot and then the regular visit. Skill shots are allowed. That means you can pot any ball on the table, by the black, as long as you pot the ball you need to pot. So if you're yellows, you can pot the red as long as you pot the yellow. Means the table is constantly open. You can't really take pockets in black ball pool. So really smooth break from Jordan. He didn't really seem to put much into that, but it's a really good spread.
It is, and we're used to seeing Jordan turn up with his break cue and go front ball on and hit it with power, and he's got a very reliable break going that way. Today he's turned up and he's gone for the cut break. Both times they've been successful, as in he's made a ball. Both times it's been a slightly congested split. First time it looked like he was going to work it out. This time he's forced into a safety shot.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrible table. Is there any colour set here which has a particular advantage? Which would either player prefer?
The problem you've got, yellows are horrible in 2 places, and reds are horrible well, they're in 2 places, but one of them's easier to solve. But the red at the top of the table, if you go reds, is very difficult to solve because you've just got nothing else nearby. There's no way to create an angle, there's no double on. So probably if you had to choose, you'd go yellows, but it's not really a choice you want to take.
And it's a choice that neither of these two are prepared to make either. It is still an open table. It's an interesting dynamic in a safety battle because you can't be snooked.
Yeah, I always think, I always like to get your colour set and start to work. So you've got a reason to, say, develop a ball whilst keeping it safe, or you're trying to snooker on one colour set, not the other. When it's an open table all the way through, the tactical side of it comes a little bit harder to work out. You know, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to force your player into taking a poor colour set? Are you trying to mess the table up?
It's very rare you get this sort of frame in shootout pool, but this is going to be an interesting one for both these players to figure out.
It's still early in the set, there's 20 minutes to go, but it's more to Alex's advantage to have this frame be drawn out. Let's say it takes 5-6 minutes to work out this frame and he wins it. All of a sudden he's 3-0 ahead with just over 10 minutes left on the clock. Say that's a huge advantage.
We are socially distanced as possible in the venue as ever in the West Midlands. If you've been a regular viewer rather of the Super Series so far, you'll notice that, but both players keeping their distance from one another. Carousel rotation around the table. It's only the 2 players and our referee inside the arena too. All the cameras operated remotely. This is a real scrappy one.
It is. Both players would love to see the other player take on something iffy, something tricky, because they're big odds against making it. Alex did take that pot on.
He certainly did.
And what that shot there from Jordan tells us is that he's happy for Alex to go reds. Doesn't want him to be yellows. He's happy to say, have a go at reds here. Is Alex considering this red to the top right corner? No, just another safety. He's left yellows on. Now will Jordan be tempted?
Which is interesting because the way Jordan plays last shot, you'd imagine it means he'd prefer yellows. I guess there's our answer.
So yellows have one bad ball really, the yellow towards the top left-hand corner. That's the only one that needs to be developed. The three that are together, they can work themselves out. Actually could nudge into them here if he wanted to. He's just decided to play safe, and that's a good choice of shot when you consider he's put yellow by his bad ball. That's going to make it easy for him to develop that ball. Good thinking.
It's a really clever shot, that. Also, it's worth pointing out as well, the black ball's not the easiest for yellows either.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do as a player. You have to work your visit through to conclusion, including the black, and weigh up the odds. Can I make this clearance or not? And if you think your odds against, then the safety's got to be the right choice. We saw in the opening frame, if you get down to the black or your last ball before the black and miss, you're just making the game easy for your opponent. So you have to think about those sorts of things early in the visit.
Now, I did wonder if Jordan can sneak through to the top left of the table. He can. I think he'd have wanted that yellow to come out there off the cushion. But it was a risky shot from Alex in a sense. He needed that white to be closer to the reds to try and get the snooker. But in playing that shot, he has opened the three yellows up in the middle of the table. Jordan's not far away from being able to go for this.
That was very risky from Jordan. Very, very risky. Had to hit a cushion after contact, so when he hit the top cushion, that didn't count as fulfilling the hitting a cushion rule. So had to make sure the white or the black reached the cushion, and that wasn't guaranteed. You watch this. If he was trying to get the white to stick on the yellow, he doesn't want the white to hit the cushion. He's after the black to hit the cushion, and you can see it only just reaches. But that shot has earned him an opportunity to win the frame. So on review, it's a good choice, and it's earned him the chance.
It's a really tough shot for Alex to take on, but I think he had to. And it's worth pointing out that whilst we pretty much barely ever see Jordan play a defensive game, he's very capable of it. He's got one of the brightest minds really around the table. He sees angles that not everyone does.
Completely agree. He actually has a fantastic tactical game. He doesn't use it as often as some of the other players, but he really does have a great pool brain. He works things out, understands what he's trying to do. He's won this tactical battle. It's not as though Alex has just taken on something careless. You know, Jordan forced him into it. This is a great frame, or a chance that's been earned through good tactical play. Never gets mentioned with Jordan, certainly not enough.
He's going to play this black, I think, in off the red. That's what he was looking at. He could go straight into the pocket, but it's tight. It's tight.
We've seen that all tournament long. Those are tight, delicate, horrible little shots into the centre pocket, and we have seen these great players miss that shot regularly in this tournament.
Has to be millimetre perfect. That's a more difficult shot than it looks.
It really is, and we've talked about this all the way through the event. This event's been played on a black ball table, and it's a beautiful table, really does play really nicely, but one of the characteristics is it is slightly tighter into the centre pockets than other brands, and the players know that, and you can see that's why Jordan was looking at the option of potentially playing the black off the red, because he knew how difficult that shot in the middle was.
15-second shot clock is now in operation. And Alex here on for his second steal, really, of the game so far, having done so much good work in that frame. Jordan Shepherd has rather given it away at the end there. And Alex is moments away from going 3-0 up it. Simple as that. 3-0 Alex O Donoghue, and he's got the next break as well. This first set could be running away from Jordan Shepherd here. But this is what he's got to contend with. Alex O Donoghue, his recent tournament history hasn't been the greatest, but he's still such a well-respected player on the circuit that doesn't really convey how good a player he is.
I think he's one of the more underrated players on the circuit, if I'm honest. He's a player that joined the IPA Tour a number of years ago, earned his professional status in one season with some very good performances, deep runs as an amateur, and won an amateur title, and then stepped away from the game, and he did it exactly the same thing again. He came back into the game, joined the IPA as an amateur once again, earned his stripes as an amateur in one season, and he's back on the tour as a pro again. And yeah, I really don't think he gets quite the credit he deserves for the level he can play at.
Already you can hear the beeps of the shot clock. They will come hard and fast now for our players on 15 seconds. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise. We saw players last night still struggling a little bit with the shot clock, Aaron Davies and Sean Story, but don't imagine it will affect either of these two too much tonight. Well, Alex is not happy with that.
Got the white too far across the right-hand side. He was playing on one of the two yellows below the black. This yellow doesn't go to the corner, so positional error from Alex could cost him this visit. Just a safety shot, trying to cover the red at the bottom, make it tough for Jordan.
Jordan Shepherd quickly out of his chair. He would love to make amends for how this match has gone so far.
Once again, Jordan showing his tactical side. Finish not quite there. Could have taken a plant on then and tried to go for something, but black's safe, red's safe. It's just not good odds for him to make the clearance. So even though he's 3-0 down and he has to be certainly wary of the set clock, he has time. He just needs to make sure he wins this frame.
Tough lock and pot there for Jordan, but I don't think it's one he'll particularly mind missing, really, in a weird way. Don't think it's going to force Alex to go to attacking. That's a clever response, though, if Jordan can't see that red to the middle pocket. I think he can. Yeah, there you go. Answer straight down. That's a great pot. We talked about how tight those middle pockets are. Playing at that pace, they become even tighter.
Trying to make something happen. It was.
Oh, he's got a little bit of luck there. He won't mind that.
Yeah, he's got lucky. That wasn't a huge amount of control in that. He was just trying to fire into the area and make it happen. Still has to solve the black. I don't think there's enough gap for the black to squeeze by that yellow.
Fortune so often favours the brave, and it was a bold shot from Jordan Shepherd.
Well, Jordan thinks he can squeeze this black in. So he's trying to get the black into the jaw off the yellow. This would be an unbelievable clearance.
Oh, it's not going to drop. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Second frame in a row. Second frame of the night, rather. Jordan Shepherd has missed the ball to win the frame.
Difficult here for Alex, though. He has to try and get a snooker. He can't make a clearance, so he has to try and get a snooker that's going to stop Jordan from being able to get to the black. And even if you gave Jordan a couple of cushions, he's going to go very close. So he's made sure he covered the one cushion. That was the biggest key. Stop him being able to go straight up and down. He's done that. He's done that well.
Not hanging about, though.
I think he's playing this with a lot of right-hand side, a lot of check side. Not enough.
Foul, loss of frame.
And that'll seed the frame as well. Well, a remarkable match so far, in many ways. It's 4-0 Alex O Donoghue, and it could so easily be 3-1 Jordan Shepherd. In 3 frames in this match so far, Jordan Shepherd has had a chance to win the frame. Twice on the black, once on the final colour. And it's surprising to see it turn out this way. This is Jordan's recent tournament history. Semi-finalist in the UK Open on the IPA circuit. What doesn't show is his prowess in the Shootout series, which has been remarkable. And I'll tell you what, this is one of those where you might be re-racking pretty instantly here. It's a great break. It's come out beautifully for him. He's already a red down. It's not as if he's played badly to be 4-0 down, but he's missed a couple of really tricky shots, and that's this game. It really can cost you in the key moments.
That's the right word, I think. He has lost the key moments. A couple of blacks have not dropped. Positional error, getting onto the black, or onto his last ball with the black there waiting for him. Yeah, this really could be a different story.
Thought it'd be a quick frame. This is Jordan Shepherd at his best. This is what he does so well. What makes him so good in this competition, although, has he just made another error on the black? I think he might have done.
That's the story of the frame, that of the set, that really is. This is close.
Oh,
this is very close.
What a shot.
Oh,
what a shot that is. Well, he came very close to having a similar recovery in the first frame, if you remember, when he had to double the black. He jawed it on that occasion, but that's such a good shot. Brilliant from Shepherd. It's 4-1. Even by his rapid-fire standards, it's very unlikely that he can force anything from this set. Alex is 1 frame away from winning it. Jordan Shepherd is also running out of time. There's only just over 6 minutes remaining. He needs at least 3 more frames. If anyone could do it in terms of pace, well, you're looking at them.
well, this might get interesting, because this is a dry break from Alex, and it's a decent split. First glance, this is another good opportunity for Jordan. Oh, great shot. That is brilliant. The vision to realise that was the only bad ball, and he's able to open it up with that very clever shot. But then he plays a careless shot. I think he snookered himself on the ball he wants to play next. Yeah, he's having to play the one he's next to.
Not quite a recovery. Yeah, I think he thought when that first one went in, I've got a real chance here, and maybe he just rushed a little bit too much on that second shot. Was a bit careless.
Yeah, he probably did rush. I think even for his standards, he made the big shot, and then once he's made that, they really are for a player of Jordan's ability. They really were just sitting there, and it was a great shot from Alex just to open up that corner pocket. No, they really were sitting there for Jordan, and he just needed to make sure of that finish, and then it would have been 4-2, and there still would have been probably just over 5 or just under 5 minutes on the clock, and that's enough time. We've seen that plenty of times in the shootout. Plenty of players have made back-to-back clearances in 5 minutes. We've seen it in 2.5 minutes. touches to this set for Alex. Not finished perfect. He wanted to be, I think, on the one into the centre pocket. Might have to take a plant on here. And it just drops.
Played that really well. I'll tell you what, you've got some pretty good odds on a 5-1 Alex O Donoghue victory in the first set tonight.
Yeah, how long into this match before Jordan starts to think, oh no, it's happening again? He's played Alex 3 or 4 times and yet to get the victory over him.
First set belongs to Alex O Donoghue. A brilliant set from him. But a set that Jordan Shepherd will feel got away from him. This is the first moment where he had the chance to win the opening frame of the match. Just overran the white ball, snooked himself on his final reds, couldn't make it work. This black then was to win the 3rd frame. Stayed up. And then this, see himself back into it. It would have been at 3-1. In the end, it was 4-0, and in the end, it's 5-1. That's the end of the first set. Alex O Donoghue leads Jordan Shepherd. Welcome back to the Super Series. Not quite what we expected after that first set. A big victory for Alex O Donoghue, winning it by 5 frames to 1. And Jordan Shepherd with some work to do, Simon, but this is a strange looking stat sheet for a 5-1.
Yeah, what the stats show you there is that both players are getting the similar number of chances. Look at the total balls potted. 31 balls potted for Jordan to only have won 1 frame. Shows that he's had opportunities, got deep in a number of visits and not been able to get over the line. And positional errors and missed pots have really cost him.
Yeah, they certainly have. And what it does show from Alex's point of view is he hasn't made a mistake, and often that's all it takes. Second set is upon us. The clock is back at 30 minutes. Alex O Donoghue is back to breaking really well. Had a couple of more tactical frames, which needed a little bit of working out in the first set, but I think this will be more of a case of breaking dish territory, or at least Alex will be hoping so.
So far, so good when it comes to Alex's break. This is a good opportunity. Yellow nearest the left centre pocket. He would love that to go into the centre pocket, but it doesn't. It does go to the top left corner, so it doesn't have to move it if he doesn't want to. He may leave it for his last ball. I can see a way around the table. You just leave it for your last ball and drop it in for the black. Go from here, though.
Yeah, the fact that he's got options shows how good a split it is for him.
Has a lovely angle here if he wanted to screw into the yellow. Maybe, when I say a lovely angle, maybe just a touch thin to get to the yellow. So he's taken it up to the top corner for a better route. It's not ideal position.
All it takes is a couple of centimetres, a couple of inches, slightly out of position, and breaks and clearances get quite considerably more difficult. He's had to play a couple of really nice shots there, Alex O Donoghue. He's got to play another one here.
Hardest part of this shot, and you can see the grimace on his face, is that, okay, he can pop the yellow to the bottom right corner, but he has to really jab down on the white to try and get the white across to the left-hand side of the table to be able to take the yellow up to the top corner. And that's hard to do from this position.
Yeah, it's an awkward bridge, and he's going to have to stab at this.
Oh, that's great. That's very good.
Cued that about as good as he could in that position.
Yeah, I thought the odds were against him there. Actually, I always thought he'd make the pot. I just didn't think he'd get across the table. I thought he was more likely to make the foul. But it's a good shot. He needs another one, though. But the black is just sitting there waiting, all about the pot. Not this time. That's a big wide from Alex.
Having already made a couple of similar shots up to the top of the table, fully expected Alex O Donoghue to make that one. And, well, it's a flip reversal of what we saw in the first set. Alex O Donoghue in at the balls. You don't think he's going to miss, and then all of a sudden he opens it up for Jordan Shepherd, something that happened a couple of times in reverse in set number 1. I think Jordan will be desperate to do is take every opportunity like this.
Happened in the opening frame of the match, and it set the tone for the set, didn't it? Jordan made the mistake, didn't make the clearance that we all thought he would, and was never able to recover.
Even with a 30-second shot clock, Jordan has the agitation of a man who's playing to 10.
Yeah.
Almost never hear the beeps on a 30-second shot clock with this man, and that's an unbelievable shot he's worked out and lined up and then executed.
It almost, yeah, it's another tough pot required here, though, to get over the line. Yeah, it almost feels like he's almost playing quite slowly, but you don't hear the beeps, and we're playing a 30-second shot clock. That's excellent.
That was a trickier clearance than perhaps we gave it credence for at the start of Jordan Shepherd's break, but that's a brilliant, brilliant dish and response. Fantastic clearance from Jordan Shepherd. And it's 1-0 in the second set. This is just during the last break that we had, Simon. This is Jordan Shepherd's cue hand that we can see, and just having a little test of the old cushions, we think.
Yeah, he was doing a few different things. He was testing out the cushions. He had a shot with the black over the pocket where he had to play it with a lot of check side and get the white going down towards the corner pocket, and he got it wrong, and he got it wrong by a bit of a distance. So he had a bit of a play around with that shot. Then he had a little bit of a play around just to see how the, is the table playing true and straight. And yeah, it's one of those things. I think when the player has a bad set, and Jordan did have a bad set, it's easier for him to say, oh, I wasn't happy with the table, than say, oh, I didn't play particularly well.
Well, a dry break for Jordan Shepherd, his first of the match. But again, not the easiest spread. It's been a bit of a feature of Jordan's breaks tonight.
It can happen when you take that style of break, when you go for the cut break.
Why do you think he has changed it after being so successful in his last match with the way that he was?
I think he's just, I think he's comfortable with two styles of break. I think we never talk about his break being amazing, but it never ever seems to let him down either. And he is more common, it's more common for him to go for the front wall break. But he does have this secondary break that we'll go to from time to time. And I suspect that today what's happened is that he's turned up, he's had a practice on the table, and he's felt that the cut break was working better for him in practice. I don't think there's much more to it than that. It's an important visit for Alex. It was only a positional error that cost him in the previous frame, but having made that mistake, he'll be keen not to do it again. He doesn't want to make this set easy for Jordan. He wants to maintain his advantage, and he'll feel he should have won the previous frame.
Oh no. Well, that's a bad error. That's a real sitter from Alex, and he knew it as soon as he played it.
Yeah, careless one really. Just want to, when you've got a great player like Jordan under pressure, the last thing you want to do is gift him a couple of good chances and let him get off, get up and running almost, find his stride. You want to keep him down, you want to keep him frustrated. He is a player that can get visibly frustrated, and when you're playing him, you sort of know you've got him when he starts showing that. Sometimes he almost spurs himself on, but sometimes it can get worse and worse because of it. And Alex is in danger of letting him off the hook a little bit. Short with the white. He's trying to get the white right across the left-hand side to be able to take this red to the same pocket as the previous one. And that's going to cause him a problem as well, because he needs to, it's not the easiest skill shot to play the red onto the yellow over the pocket. And it's difficult because he's not got another red near that the bad ball to be able to get there. So it is going to be the skill shot, I think.
This is tough.
And what makes this tough if he takes it on is the fact that yellow isn't in the centre of the pocket. It's just to the side of the pocket. Have to be very precise. You want to get the red as full as possible on that yellow. Yeah, he was a long way off there. A long, long way. Needed to catch it full. He caught it probably quarter ball.
Time out, please.
That was probably as tough as skill shots really go in that sort of field.
Time running.
That style of skill shot, that was tough. There are times when you see it and you fancy the player to make it. The ball's right in the middle of the pocket and it's close and he's right behind it. But that time it was delicate, it was tricky. He was a long way away from making it. So a let off for Alex. Wasn't the best of free shots following that foul. It was covered nicely with the first pot. Needs another good pot to the corner. But he also needs to land with a good angle on his last yellow to be able to land on the black. So this isn't as straightforward as it looks at first glance. That's not ideal. Can't get onto the black into the centre pocket, its obvious pocket. It doesn't go to the obvious corner, so he might have to come across to where his hand is now. Oh, he's gone for the double. Great choice of shot.
Some recovery that. Some recovery that. Got himself into a bit of jeopardy there, Alex O Donoghue, but a brilliant double on his final yellow. Have a watch of this. Makes the angle that didn't exist without that shot to be able to set black into the middle pocket and put himself another frame on the board. This is a reminder of the state of play in the Super Series tournament as things stand. Both Alex O Donoghue and Jordan Shepherd playing for a spot in the semi-finals where they'll face either Mark Farnsworth or David McNamara. Story
Alex O Donoghue to break.
Securing his place in the semi-finals last night with a victory over Aaron Davies. He awaits the winner of Gareth Hibbert and John McAllister. We have 2 quarterfinals and 2 semi-finals on back-to-back nights next week. Jordan Shepherd,
1 free shot, 1 visit.
Up like a shot out of his seat there as soon as the white ball went in. Can't think why.
The minute he sees the foul, he does have an air on the table, a bit like some of the other top players, in the same way that it's almost like it's his table. He owns this table, and you know he's desperate to get there, and he wants to control it at all times. And that sign of him running out of his chair to get there is just adds to that kind of feeling.
Still an open table, of course, so he could take that shot on. The problem area for both colour sets is now no more.
Hasn't come out particularly well for him though, hasn't landed nicely on his next ball. He's caused a problem at the bottom part of the table. We can see the one over the top pocket, so that helps. But the one that's in the triangle area, that yellow doesn't have an obvious pocket. It does go to the left centre. It's difficult to land on it to the left centre.
I think that's what he's trying to do. Well, I thought it was what he was going to try and do with that shot. It isn't. Swing it around the houses here, though. Just like that.
Down on the shot. The minute he hit that, he thought that might stay up. It does drop off the far jaw, and a good finish.
It's a really good finish, and you knew it was close as soon as he stayed down, and he had to pot it in the thicker part of the pocket to try and straighten the white up to hold for the black. It's a really tough penultimate shot. Played it really well. This is Jordan's recent history. Had a shocker at the Worlds. Again, a round 1 defeat, which is becoming something of a bogey tournament for him, really.
Frame
But
4,
as you can
Jordan
see,
Shepherd to
on
break,
a man
leading
open
2 frames
last
to
year,
1, and trading
defeat
1 set to 0.
Alex O
Time
Donoghue.
running.
It's happened before. Maybe hoping it doesn't happen again. A defeat that hopefully didn't cost him too much, but a defeat nevertheless.
Not the best record in recent times on the IPA tour for Jordan Shepherd, a player that wins regularly, multiple titles to his name, and he was actually finding a level of consistency a season and a half ago. Thought the plant was going to drop, but it doesn't. It stays on the table. It won't cost him too much at first glance, simply because he has the top 2 pockets sewn up. There isn't any yellows that Alex can really take on.
Yeah, it wasn't a shot to nothing in the sense of he didn't really care if he potted it or not, but it's not disastrous for him. And Alex has made it a little bit more tricky.
Can often be the way when you've got a chance for a clearance like that. You want to make sure of it. Okay, you walk away from the table and you think, oh, not too much damage done because my opponent can't clear up. But what he's done is Alex has made this a messy table and a very difficult one for Jordan to work out. And
Jordan's actually just made it a fair bit messier as well. You could tell by his reaction there.
And it's the last thing he would have wanted. You know, that was a visit he felt he should clear up and get himself 3-1 in front. You just don't want the extra stress. Even if he goes ahead and wins this frame, it will be a source of frustration for him.
Jordan has to find a way to pot the red over the top corner pocket. That'll help him.
It's another one though. He'd have rather that had dropped rather than stay where it did, because the rest of them are quite simple.
30 seconds, please. The balls would stop at 4:15.
Shot clock returning to 30 seconds and quite gone to the 15-second cut-off.
15-second shot clock in operation.
Now we move to the 15-second shot clock, and in a safety battle this can always be a bit of a tough one.
I think Jordan's going to be aggressive here. 3-ball plant is the way. The key here, 3-ball plant to the top left. The key is what happens to the red he's going to make contact with. He needs to make sure that comes out into the open. Will he do it with delicate control, or will he try and hit this firm and get it back out into the open? It's the control, and not exactly what he wanted, but he's still on another shot. Another 3-ball plant, in fact.
You don't see too many back-to-back 3-ball plants, do you? That's come out nice for him, I think.
And now just the standard 2-ball plant.
Now we're back to your regularly scheduled programming of just potting balls.
Yeah, so a little rare one.
3 plants in a row. Sets up the finish, and that is a decent recovery after a couple of mistakes in that frame from Jordan. Finished it really, really nicely. Reminder of who we are dealing with. This is Alex O Donoghue. He has been twice a World Championship quarter-finalist, as well as an IPA amateur event winner. He's a Liverpool fan, which means he'll be keeping one eye on things in Merseyside tonight, I'm sure, once this game's finished.
Alex O Donoghue to break, trading 3 frames to 1, leading
Big golf fan as
1-0.
well.
Time running.
Tiger Woods is his favourite sports person, loves his golf. And a little interesting story there, he actually changed his favourite player, favourite pool player in between his first round and his second round, because on his first round he had his favourite pool player as Jordan Shepherd.
I can't believe you've called him out for that.
Well, it just, you've got to do it. I mean, changed it to John McMacken, a player from his hometown in Swindon.
Until those two play each other.
Well, possibly. to be fair to Alex, he actually did, because I was involved in putting those together, and he did actually ask to change it before the first round, and it didn't get done in time.
Wasn't on that, Jordan Shepherd, so just had to try and hold the pocket. It's been a bit of a weird set, this, because I'd say probably in the first set we didn't really see much wrong with either player. Both of them were pretty much in full flow. There was just a couple of bad errors towards, you know, the business end of frames, but this has been a little bit more bitty. Players have just made a few mistakes in this set. Uncharacteristic ones.
Just important, isn't it? Important for Jordan to get himself back in this match. Going 2-0 down would be very tough to come back. The pressure of being the favourite for the event. Alex is under pressure because he's gone ahead and he needs to keep his opponent down. I think we've seen all the way through this event, other than a couple of performances, that there are going to be mistakes in this form of the game, probably more than you'll see in a professional tournament, professional tour. This event puts players under more pressure, which we love to see. We absolutely love seeing these players under that sort of pressure. I feel like it's only a matter of time before Alex gets the opportunity to win this frame. There is absolutely nothing that Jordan can do. He has put himself in quite a lot of bother here.
Foul.
Oh.
One free shot, one visit.
He couldn't do that again if he tried. That's really unlucky. Threaded the needle here.
Couldn't be any closer. How has he done that?
It almost, and it's physically not possible. Like, the white went through the yellow there. Look, I'd still watch that replay and expected it to hit. But either way, Alex O Donoghue with a chance to make this 3-2, and he should from this position.
Clever little free shot, just developed. Two bad balls in one. Wide open now. Add a little bit of interest. Make this set tighter.
Been a good game, this, between two really, really good players. It's what we expected it to be, what we hoped it would be. It's certainly delivered. If Alex can keep this tight in this set, maybe even snatch it, go 2-0 up, it'd be such a victory for him. The difference between 2-0 and 1-1 in a race to 3, absolutely massive.
It's huge, and it's even bigger when you consider, if it does happen, that Jordan's been controlling this set all the way through.
Well, this is Jordan's profile. Lives in Doncaster, but very much a Welshman. Multiple IPA title winner, but also a 5-time shootout champion. And this really is his format of the the game.
Frame 6.
There's only been one shootout final he's not been in. We talked about this a little bit last night.
Time running.
That sort of consistency just doesn't make sense.
What makes it even more of an incredible statistic is the fact that in the normal shootout tournaments, they are like we're playing this as a set play match where each set is a race to 5. In a normal tournament, each match is a race to 5 frames, and you're playing great players, you know, great champions in short races like that in this format of the game. It's so volatile. So for him to have that consistent a record is quite unbelievable.
Broke dry on this occasion though, and Alex is in amongst the balls. Nearly had a little bit of a time problem with his first shot. Quickly got down on that opening yellow. And from this position, yeah, I mean, you back him. Really, really would. Could be 3-3 before you know it hit. Just wonder how long it'll be until Jordan switches his break up. He's having a few issues with it.
It started off well, but it's certainly getting worse as the match goes on. I wonder whether he'd take this to the corner. He's not. He's going to go for the middle. There's the red to control the white, and this yellow does go to the corner pocket. It's not the full pocket, but there's enough there. Oh, there was enough there, but it's a bad miss. That could be huge in the context of this set. That really could.
Yeah, you can see from the overhead. If it had been flip reversed and he was playing for that half of the pocket, he might have even still been overcutting it. That was a good chance and a poor shot from Alex, which is not something we've seen a lot of in this game.
Still work to do for Jordan Shepherd though. Red on the right hand side, that doesn't go to the corner. I think he'd rather try and move it, but he may not get the angle to move it, so he may have to look for it into one of the top pockets. Don't think that you can play the double. The black's in the way for that, or it looks like it's in the way for that, and it's very tight into the middle pocket. So
it's a big positional shot.
Doesn't want to hit the red. Doesn't want to hit that red. He wanted to go by that red. Knocking it down the table, the odds of him being on it anywhere was so slim. I really think he was trying to get by the red and take the red up the table.
Goes for the treble. Wasn't a million miles away, but he's pretty far away right now from this 6th frame of the 2nd set. This should be a really straightforward clearance for Alex. And for the 3rd, 4th time for Jordan Shepherd in this match, he's got to the business end of his break and given the chance away. We are all square in the 2nd set with 4.5 minutes to play.
I have to feel the next 4.5 minutes are a lot bigger for Jordan Shepherd than they are for Alex O Donoghue. They are huge in this match.
Spot in the semi-finals awaits either of these gentlemen. It's Mark Farnsworth or David McNamara, who are coming up next week. Tuesday, I believe, is that match. Gareth Hibbert, John McAllister with you on Monday. 2 semi-finals follow on Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, and Alex has been kicked in.
One free shot, one
Have a watch of this.
Time running.
There's an element of that being a little unlucky. But there's also an element of it where so you send that white ball towards the corner pocket, even if it does miss, you are dancing with the devil in that sense.
You want to keep it as far away from that corner pocket as possible, but it was still very unlucky to be kicked in that way. Hit the gap of the yellow and red on the one to the corner. This is ideal, having seen what's just happened in the previous 2 frames. It's exactly what he wanted, get himself back in front. Very little time left on the set clock after this frame.
You have all the times for Alex to go in off the break. That was a bad time to do it. He's already had an iffy black into the middle. That didn't end up with it dropping. On this occasion, though, no such mistake from Jordan Shepherd. He goes into the lead with not much time remaining. the stats as they stand, and Jordan actually just asking our referee what the rules are regarding the, I think the timing of the breaks is what he wanted to know. It is obviously very much still in his hands. But he will want to use probably the full 15 seconds to take the break.
Time running.
And we'll use this time to an extent, but it's just not in Jordan Shepherd's nature to slow the game down. Won't suit him in any way doing that.
It won't, but he really did pull back on that break. He wasn't going to tap break. He's probably never tap broke in his life, but he wanted to make sure he didn't foul break in any way, but he certainly didn't give that the power that he has done in previous breaks. Make a ball, use up the clock. He doesn't really need to worry about the clearance, just use up 15 seconds on most of his shots. But it's noticeable actually, even Jordan Shepherd trying to use up 15 seconds, he's still only playing it with half of his time gone. I think he played the last one with 8 seconds left on the clock.
I think he's just doing a little bit of maths as well, trying to work out how many balls are in that allotted time.
See, he's trying to use the clock up there, and you can see it's just not in his nature to do it that way. We still haven't heard the beeps, even with him, you're trying to use the clock up. And without trying to clear up, he could well clear up here.
I was just thinking that. I mean, the time's passed for Alex to win the frame, which is, I mean, the main goal.
Not a lot he can do with this one.
On a hit and Chris. That'll do it. Well, a really interesting second set, one which both players were very much in. But Jordan Shepherd squares things up in the quarterfinal of the Super Series. It's 1-1. Welcome back to the Super Series pool. We are squared 1 apiece here in the quarterfinal between Alex O Donoghue and Jordan Shepherd. A massive frame at the end there to take the victory for the Welsh Wizards, and the stats are a really interesting reading. A lot more balls potted, which shows that Jordan's had his chances. But weirdly, Alex had more missed pots. Makes sense of that.
He's won 5 frames to 8, but potted a lot more balls. That tells us that Jordan's been getting chances and not taking them. And it was a poor first set from Jordan, but he's responded. It wasn't an eye-catching second set, but it was a very important one, and he almost played some pool that he knew how important it was with the way he played. And he is back in this match, and it's going to be very interesting to see how things develop from here. Will Jordan go into full flow, or will it be more of the same?
And we are ready to go. Well, we will be in a second, as soon as the big bang bongs leave us. Just checking the time there to make sure it wasn't on the hour. But we are away in our third set there. Jordan Shepherd with the break. And I did wonder this in the previous frame, Simon, at what point would Jordan Shepherd change his break? Well, we just got our answer, and for me this is what he does so well. He breaks like that, sets the table up. It made zero sense to me personally as to why you'd look to change that. It's so effective.
I think it is a strange one. I would always expect him to start the match breaking this way. That other break, the cut break, is very much his secondary break. You don't see him use it very often at all, but I can only put it down to the way he practiced and felt that was the way to start the match.
Don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely not in the position to try and tell Jordan Shepherd how to play pool. The man's a wizard. But just from the outside looking in, it does seem a strange one when you look at how effective it can be. This is Jordan Shepherd at his most devastating. Hammer break, split the table. We've played 90 seconds, and that's 1 frame on the board. That is Jordan Shepherd at his very best. 1-0 in the third set.
And when you're used to playing like that, when you're used to doing that sort of thing regularly, why change it? Why start differently? But we'll have to ask Jordan the question at some point.
If he is to advance through to the semi-finals, we will hear from him and we will ask that question for you. Alex will be hoping that we don't get round to that. It's in his hands still. Both players very much in the position to influence the outcome here. Still a long way to go in this one.
1 set all. Time running.
Alex had a couple of break woes of his own. He nearly went off into the middle pocket there, but that looks like it's going to come up dry again. And just having a quick scan of this table, it could be another 90-second clearance.
I'm pleased with the look of the table. A little bit of work to do. Yellow at the top, the one, well, to the right-hand side that we're looking at. There's a red in the way to get to the potting angle of that one. I'm not sure if he can just get by it if he gets the right angle. And then there's yellow close to a red in the bottom half of the table as well. So not a really quick run to the line, but certainly a chance. He's playing on the yellow to the top corner. He's on it this time.
Well, that's one thing we didn't expect to happen.
No, I really didn't. I don't know if he's just trying to pinch the pocket. If he hits the centre of the pocket, can he avoid hitting the red? Did the red just put him off that shot? Possibly. Red at the top of the table is a problem for Alex. I don't know whether he can play it off the yellow. Yellow on the left-hand side, the one on the jaw. If he can play it off that ball, then it's not that bad to work out. If he can't, then it's a really bad ball to work out. And I suspect he can't play that shot, just looking at it from this camera angle.
Yeah, it's not an easy lie this for him at all, considering John's been in and amongst the balls here. He's a bit within his rights, Alex O Donoghue, to feel a bit aggrieved. That makes things a lot easier. That's a great shot. He's still got a big problem. Almost deserves to be able to go on and win the frame after a shot like that, but needs to do a little bit more work.
Still has to solve his big problem. You look from the overhead. Can he get past the first yellow to catch the second yellow and make it in the corner? It's very tight. Well, he hasn't gone up at any point. He hasn't looked to go up the table for it, to try and develop it, and he's happy to go for this clearance. So that tells me he probably does think that he can make that red at the top off the yellow.
I think in terms of leaving it, he's going to want to be as close to it as he possibly can.
If he hits the yellow full in the face, it's perfect.
That is pretty much as far away from perfect as he could be, and it was only a centimetre out. Oh, and now he's in trouble.
Tough pot. I think he's got the natural angle just to swing round and have a second opportunity at it. But it was a tough pot.
Well, second bite of the apple for Jordan Shepherd. There was no guarantees on that red that Alex would have had to play. But he was so close there. You're talking a quarter of the width of the ball away from being absolutely perfect. And that's the difference. Those are the margins that these players have to deal with. And one word that you always use to describe this game, this sport, Simon, is maddening. Yeah. And that's very much coming from a player's perspective, I know. It's moments like that that really hammer it home.
You are that close to winning the frame. If he hits the yellow full in the face, he knows that he's not going to lose the frame from that situation, and you end up in a world of trouble.
John's just come unstuck a little bit there as his second yellow. One that It's now in the middle of the table. Doesn't go after clearing that top pocket out, so he's got a little bit of work to do.
No attempt at the pot from Alex. Just trying to get the white, trying to block the yellow, the path from the white to the yellow over the corner with the black, which I think he may just about have done.
Well, it's cat and mouse this, isn't it? Both players don't want to be the player to move the red or the yellow. They're stuck together, because as soon as that happens, it could well be frame over for them. But Jordan is playing that ball. What's he got in the locker here?
Is he playing off the cushion to make a plant? No, he's played just a safety shot, so that was his effort to try and get his yellow out and keep it safe from Alex, and it's half a job done. If the white had stopped an extra couple of rolls at the table and the black had blocked this red at the bottom, then it would be job done. Alex had half a chance here in terms of he could pop this to the centre pocket and give himself some sort of pot on that one at the top, but it's incredibly tough. Just gone for the double. He was accepting, look how thin he's left that red at the top of the table, and he was accepting that as his opportunity on that red, but misses the double anyway.
That's come out nice for Jordan Shepherd. I don't think that was as easy as it might have looked.
It may be in the back of Alex's mind as well, that it wasn't a certainty that Jordan was going to make that shot.
This is far more of a certainty. This should be 2-0. And it is. Set number 3 going the way of Jordan Shepherd so far. A bit more like it from the Welsh Wizard in terms of the scoreline, but he won't be totally happy with that frame. Some mistakes were made, but he got over the line in the end. This is what we talk about when we talk about him as the shootout king, though. These are all of our shootout events, this format of the game, and you'll notice there is only one final Jordan Shepherd has not been in, and he's won 4 of them.
Frame, Jordan Shepherd to break, leading 2 frames.
5 of them rather.
1 set all.
Yeah, the one event that he didn't make the final in, he lost in the quarterfinals to Liam Dunster, so it took a special player to knock him out in this event without making the final. And even in that match, he had a good chance to win it. Missed a double late on in the match that would have given him the match, and in the end it was Liam Dunster's match, and he went on to win the title. Be the first player other than Jordan Shepherd to lift a shootout title. It is quite incredible, really.
Well, he's broken really well there, Jordan Shepherd, and come up with so little to go at. Don't know if he'll feel too aggrieved at this. I mean, Reds have to be the play, right? But they're not easy.
The opening shot is tricky. Now he's made that, he's 1 cannon away from developing the red at the top. I suppose there's still the red to the bottom left as well. So yeah, this is a 2-0 down in this set.
That's 1. Still needs a bit of work to work out the other. And that black ball cutting off some options down the bottom of the table as well. It's a fiddly sort of clearance.
It is, and I was just thinking, it's not at 2-0 down in this set, you just don't, if you go for this fiddly clearance, you don't make it. You make the game easy for your opponent, and all of a sudden you're 3-0 behind, and you're really chasing a set. Trust me, Jordan Shepherd sat in his chair, and he's thinking, he's very happy watching Alex go for this finish. He's like, you know, you carry on, you keep trying.
The further he goes into it, the more difficult it gets. These 3 balls here are not easy. He's going to look at this pot to the bottom right. The pot itself isn't, it's fairly guaranteed, but the position is really tricky.
So the key here, he's got to get the red, and he's only just flicked it. He needed that full, and the reason he played it that time rather than wait 1 more shot was because he thought if he catches it full, he's guaranteed to be on the red, that he's just cannon safe at the top of the table. And now he is long odds from making this clearance.
Yeah. See there the instant reaction. Oh, he's gone chasing.
Well, we said earlier on when Jordan Shepherd took on a skill shot that it was very tough. This is even harder. This is very difficult. Not a surprise to see the red stay on the table, gifting the frame almost to Jordan Shepherd.
Time running.
Yeah, that's about as hard as it goes for skill shots, really. That amount of distance between the two balls, so difficult to be precise. And I said at the start of the frame, in a weird way, I didn't think Jordan would be too fussed to miss that opening pot. It wasn't an easy clearance at all, especially for a player who's not managed to find any rhythm, especially in this third set.
Yeah, would have been happy watching Alex go for the finish, and sometimes you just want to, you know, you're happy with that. You know your opponent's got a very tough finish, and the further they go, the easier they're going to make it for you. That's what makes top-level ball so fascinating at times.
Coming up on Freesports, we resume in the Super Series on Monday. Don't miss it. Gareth Hibbert, John McAllister, world champion of 2020, takes on the world champion of 2016. That is Monday, 6 o'clock. We'll see you there.
Frame 4, Alex O Donoghue to break.
Back to back next week, which is hugely exciting. By the end of Thursday night, we will have our final in the Super Series.
Rather bizarrely, Jordan changes his break again.
Never second guess this man.
Actually, correction, it was Alex that broke, so I'll take that one back. But Alex, what it does show is that Alex's break has gone downhill quite a lot. Opening set, his break was pretty successful. He gave himself a number of opportunities, and since that first set, it's not been as successful, and it's something he's going to need to get going again in this match, because whilst Jordan did make some mistakes early on, and he doesn't look like he's in full flow, he's certainly playing well enough now to take chances that are going to come his way.
That was a really tough shot that he took on there, Alex O Donoghue, and he sort of needed to make it. This yellow now at the top of the table is a huge problem for him. You can see him trying to figure it out. He's going to have a problem doing so. In the end, I think he fully expected that one to stay up. Just wanted to make the bottom of the table a problem for Jordan. We're about to head into 15-second mode.
15-second shot clock in operation.
As you hear from our referee, Don Evans.
Needs to work out the red. It's next to the yellow at the bottom half of the table. Purposely played that red off the yellow, just trying to move it away from the pocket to open up the other red to that corner. I think it's half a job done. That red might just sneak in, but there's a yellow blocking the potting angle as well. He may well just leave it where it is and come down the left-hand side of the table. Comfortably goes to the opposite corner.
Yeah, I was just wondering that he has got the position here to just drift down, doesn't he? You can see there, that's where he's looking to leave the white. Just to navigate through the minefield of yellows at the bottom of the table to get through to the black. Done that really, really well. Doesn't matter that he's spotted the yellow over the pocket. Counts as a skill shot. And that is beautifully done by Jordan Shepherd. That is much more like it from the Welsh Wizard, the sort of performance in that frame that we're so accustomed to seeing in this competition, in this form of the game.
He looks more relaxed, doesn't he? More relaxed than he was early on in the match, where he looked just a little bit anxious, made a few mistakes I'm not used to seeing from him.
Just wonder, coming back into the second set, there was an in-off break from Alex, and just wonder if that had gone the other way.
Frame 5, Jordan
That
Shepherd
frame
to break,
could have
leading
been
4 frames
such
to
a
0, 1
big
set
frame for Alex to
time
win.
running.
Yeah,
Could easily have been 2-0.
And he'd won the previous 2 frames from 3-1 behind. He'd got himself back to 3-3, and there wasn't long left on the clock at that point. Tall order for Alex to get back into this set, but he just has to play each frame as it comes, and even if it's not enough to get back into the set, at least try and get some momentum away from Jordan and get a couple of finishes on your side of the table so that you start set number 4 in the right way. Don't get me wrong, he won't have given up on the set, but he knows it's a tall order.
But this is, I mean, this is absolutely what Alex needed. Really needed that. It's a nerve settler. Even though this set may well be beyond him now, that will just help him, I think.
Yeah, that could be huge going into the next set. It really could, even if it doesn't work out in this set for him. But he's still fighting away. There's still over 10 minutes left. There's still a chance. We've seen turnarounds before.
We have indeed. See there the respective victories from both of these players in the early stages. Really good game between Gav Robinson and Alex O Donoghue, which went the distance. Only for Alex to really step up his game in the final set there and take that one through.
Break, trading 4 frames, 1 settle.
For my money, the performance of the round, just about, against Mason Penny. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, just when I said that was what Alex O Donoghue needed, just to have a bit of a nerve settler.
1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
That's a real kick in the teeth, because he's broken that really well. Got into them great, but that's just pure. It's just an error to go straight in off like that.
I think he's starting to show his frustration on the break. He gave that more. He really did reach back for more power on that. I think he's shown the frustration he's felt with the break really going against him in the last set and a half.
And that can come into it when you do lose the element of control. Should be 2-1 here, with 10 minutes to spare.
Normal Jordan Shepherd service resumed.
Beautifully done. That's the end of the third set. Alex O Donoghue is vanquished in that set pretty quickly. Jordan Shepherd will be back to see if he can take this one home. The break. Welcome back to the Super Series. We are getting closer and closer to finding out who's going to make it through to the semi-final between Jordan Shepherd and Alex O Donoghue. Jordan Shepherd leads 2-1.
Set 4.
A really big third set.
Alex O Donoghue to break.
Yeah, normal service for Jordan. He looks relaxed, he looks calm, he's taking the majority of his chances, and Alex can still win this match, but he's going to have to rediscover his form with the break, and he's going to have to take more of the chances that come his way. But if he can put Jordan under pressure, then he's more than capable of taking this to a decider and turning this match around.
Just having a look at the break there, I think he might have just discovered a little bit of a formula. That's a really cute little shot to kick off the break from Alex O Donoghue there.
didn't really want to have to play it off the yellow. He would rather have gone in clean just to make the next shot more controllable. But he's still on this yellow. He didn't move far enough to cause a problem. Positional side of this shot's tricky though. He wants to get the cannon. Oh, very good.
Oh, it's come out dreamily.
And that's as played as well. It really is as played.
At this stage, should be 3 fairly simple shots here for Alex O Donoghue.
It's the art of good patterns. Good shot to open up, sorry, good shot to open up, and then you just find your pattern and it's all straight pot, good control, straight pot. It's a great pattern from Alex, and really nicely done.
Yeah, those first 2 shots have really set this up. 2 really, really good ones. Decent break initially, was a little bit unlucky with where the white ended up. Recovered that beautifully with a pot, and then the next one was a real corker of a positional shot. Gave him the first frame of this 4th set. A frame that didn't necessarily need to win, but it will stand him in very good stead indeed. On Monday, we've got the Battle of the World Champions, and here is that record. Gareth Hibbert, 2016. John McAllister, 2020. There you go, head-to-head on Monday. Worth pointing out on Tuesday, 2019 World Champions in action as well, in the shape of Mark Farnsworth. So plenty of talent still to come in the quarterfinals here of the Super Series.
You mentioned the World Championship. Jordan Shepherd does not have a good record in the World Championships at all, and he's very aware of it. Biggest event of the year, and so far hasn't had a decent run at any of them. Something he really wants to put right as his career goes forward.
Still plenty of time on his side though. It's not as if he's...
Yeah, still a relatively young man, 29 years old. He's got plenty of years left at the top of the game if he wants it.
I think the frustration will come from the way that he knows he can play.
Well, he knows, and he knows this at any tournament he turns up at. He knows if he turns up and plays his best, he knows he can win it. He is that sort of player. If he turns up and plays well, you expect him to win. He's at that level. So that for him to turn up at the World Championships so far and go out consistently early, it's very disappointing for him.
Quite dry there, and he has been having a few issues with the break this evening. It's not quite been his best friend, as it certainly was in round 1 of this competition. Alex O Donoghue here with a pretty good chance to go 2-0 up in next to no time here in the 4th set.
Positional shot onto the red at the bottom of the table, which I suspect will be his last red, will be key. Certainly not guaranteed to land nicely on his last ball, and that little feather on the red hasn't helped. This is why I say it hasn't helped, because now that he had to come further down the table, he's now got to avoid those yellows on the right-hand side, the ones just above the centre pocket when coming down the table. This isn't easy to land nice.
Yeah, this requires some really good cue ball control. He's already played a couple of really, really good shots so far in this set. He's played that very safe, I think, to make sure he's got a shot, but this pot now is tricky.
Safe's the key word. The closer he got to the yellows on the right-hand side, the closer he got to being on nothing. This is a tough pot. Again, he has to play around with the yellows. Great pot.
Oh, that's come out pretty well, I think. I mean, I'm assuming the black passes the yellow. He's just having a little look at it. And actually, oh, it's tight.
it's not the full pocket, and when you're not right behind it and it's not a full pocket, it makes it very tough.
Yeah, this is eminently missable.
He's going to the bottom left, and he has missed it.
Well. Well, well, well. He nearly recovered that brilliantly, Alex O Donoghue.
Not easy for Jordan Shepherd here, though. Not an easy starter. A couple of problem yellows. He made the not an easy starter look easy. Still hasn't landed nicely on the next ball, though. He could, if he wanted to, try and feather in behind these yellows, but I think he'll probably leave a one cushion escape, so it's probably not worth the risk. Look to continue to be aggressive.
Yeah, it's not in Jordan's nature particularly to try and play defensive anyway, but with where the black is, if you try to play for the snooker, it's such a gamble. I think he'd rather back his queuing arm and back himself to take these out.
If he was in full flow or playing an exhibition, he'd take the yellow on the right-hand side rail now.
Oh.
Well, he's going to take it, but he's going to play a safety shot with it. I think the reason he may have decided now to play the snooker is the yellow in the middle of the table blocking the one cushion. Certainly going to be in Alex's mind. And if Alex comes two cushions, so top cushion, side cushion, he brings the in-off into play.
Hits it, he probably wins the frame.
So it's one cushion but with lots of side. See, the natural angle was blocked. So a clever shot from Jordan, understanding when he could play the snooker.
And that's of course why he wanted to play it. Giving himself a free shot to develop his bad ball. Now makes this elementary, my dear Webb.
Yeah, he's clicking his fingers because he's underhit that by some distance. He's got he's got a couple of foot of margin, and he's right on the bottom end of it. No damage done though.
I think he was more annoyed at himself rather than anything else. That was straightforward in the end, but he had to do a little bit of work to get that far. Alex O Donoghue inches away from a 2-0 lead at the start of this fourth set. His recent tournament highlights: English Amateur final against David McNamara, which is coming up on Tuesday against Mark Farnsworth in this Super Series. But it just goes back to what you were saying earlier on in the match, that he hasn't played many events recently. This man has. Look at those recent tournament highlights. Plenty of semis and finals over the last couple of years. That's not even accounting for a shootout victories. It's quite interesting how much you can tell body language just by being able to see a cross-section of the midriff of a player. The way that Alex's arms hung rather despondently there said an awful lot.
You can see the shrug of the shoulders from just looking at his hands.
It's a horrible table to have to play this.
And it is still down to the break. He just can't find a spot he's happy with. He can't find consistency. He's made a ball off his last couple of breaks. In fact, he broke dished his last break. But it hasn't been a consistent weapon so far. Decides not to continue. Turn the table over to Jordan and ask, what can you do? These yellows are pretty horrible. Don't think the yellow top of the three nearest the left centre goes. If it does, it's only quarter of a pocket. That's made things worse for both players.
But worse for both players, I don't think Alex O Donoghue particularly minds. It was definitely weighted against him.
Nice choice of shot from Alex. Trying to nudge another yellow up to that problem area. Developed a red whilst knocking another yellow worse. And once again, Jordan's trying to get a yellow into the corner pocket. And that, this time, is perfect. Alex could be aggressive if he wants to. Red to top left. White flies into the problem area. Excellent.
Yeah, how about it? Perfect. Now just the middle of the table to sort out.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to be aggressive in that situation, but forced to by the quality of Jordan's shot. I wonder if he can make the red into the left centre if he gets... if he plays it in with a lot of left-hand side and almost turns it in, he might just be able to make it, but then you wouldn't be on your next shot, so probably not a shot that you're going to take on. Just try to move it.
Unlucky.
Yeah, that's really unlucky. Doesn't get the cannon he really wanted to. He would rather have come up slightly higher up the table and got almost the gap of the black and red. But he still would have felt going into it that way that he'd be on the red at the bottom of the two to the right centre.
Yeah, he's really unlucky to be in the position he's in now.
Foul.
And he was totally snookered, didn't have to hit a cushion after contact, but hit the black before the red, which means it's a foul.
Time running.
That's a spot on call, as you can see. And now Jordan Shepherd must fancy himself in this position. 3 shots to develop the bad ball. There it is. And now a full clearance required. 6 yellows and then the black. But this is almost training mode for a player when they see this sort of position.
Anything Jordan has to really guard against is getting a little bit careless with this visit. It really is. You mentioned a training mode. It really is that sort of finish for him. Even with this sort of finish, you still have to pick a route and make sure you play the route the way you see it. Commit to your choice of shot. We've seen, and last night was a great example of it. We saw, you know, you only have to be half a fraction out of position, and all of a sudden the problem can grow, and an easy finish can become a difficult finish.
We've seen it already tonight. You know, breaks have been ruined on, you know, a centimetre offline or out of position. This has been smooth. 2-1 to Jordan Shepherd. And we were talking about his recent tournament highlights. Plenty of victories in there. There was a stage in 2018 where it looked like he was absolutely untouchable, I remember.
2018 was a brilliant year for Jordan Shepherd. He found a level of consistency. I've mentioned it a couple of times tonight. When he turned up to tournaments, he's been the same all the way through his career. When he played well, he felt he was dangerous, he was going to win that event. But he didn't turn up to tournaments playing well all the time. And in 2018, he found a level of consistency that hadn't been there previously in his career. And that's why he won. You see there's 3 titles on that list and another semi-final.
Time running.
The frustration for Jordan Shepherd will be that level of consistency dropped in 2019. Great success in the shootout, but on the IPA tour, his results dipped again, and he lost a few matches to players that raised a few eyebrows. I think Jordan Shepherd's one of those players as well that if he's happy and, you know, life's going well off the table, then he's almost more comfortable on the table as well. a good cannon for him. He can still make this clearance, but just losing a fraction of control. It's getting further away again. May take the bottom of these two reds. Slightly trickier pot, but easier to control. Where does the black go? It's great pot to the corner, and he is on this red to the top left, but how do you land on the black?
I suspect we're about to get our answer. Well, that was the answer. And if you closed your eyes at the wrong moment there, you still know what happened. Groan of frustration from Jordan Shepherd. It's not the tidiest shot from Alex. Wants to be a lot closer to that black, I think, there.
Really, really important that Alex O Donoghue wins this frame.
Yeah.
It's a frame he knows that he should win. Jordan Shepherd knows he should win it. Jordan Shepherd's probably almost written it off in his head, and anytime he gets half a sniff, he's going to try and come up with something to stop that happening. Just the way this match is going at the moment, don't feel that Alex can afford to lose this frame now. May well see another little snooker. I don't know whether he can get to the potting angle of this one down the rail, and if he can't, he'll just roll up behind them. And what that does is it's not really about getting the snooker, because, and I'm not even sure if he has got the total snooker, but what it's done is it's developed two balls whilst getting the snooker and keeping it safe, so that next time he could come to the table and he would have a chance to clear up.
It's not a bad counter shot from Jordan.
He'll be pleased on the tap of the table. Shows you that Alex isn't pleased. Good shot there from Jordan. Alex is maybe forced into taking this on, and this is tough. The pot wasn't too tricky, but the position was.
Oh, and now we're in trouble.
He is, but...
Or is he?
It shouldn't be too hard for him to get the snooker. Yeah, that was probably an easier position than previously, because it was an easy snooker. But again, Jordan can... I wonder whether Alex could have given some thought to maybe getting the white further down the table, because now he is in trouble. Now he's got a tough safety shot. He's played it well, though.
Total snooker.
Jordan will just play the same again, just rest into the red, doesn't have to hit a cushion after contact. Tried to get behind the red that time, and makes things easier for Alex. Oh, has that flick come across too far?
Oh dear.
No, he can't quite see the potting angle, I don't think.
I think he might be able to. He can.
Oh, that's a bad mistake from Alex. It's a good shot from Jordan, it is, it really is, but that's a bad mistake.
The black's not a gimme. It's not a gimme. And it doesn't go for Jordan Shepherd. That could be the mother of all let-offs for Alex O Donoghue, who nearly threw that frame away.
Jordan would have known how big that was. He would have known that would have felt like a steal. He would have felt if he'd made that double that he's 1 foot into the semi-finals. So
he really would have been.
Yeah.
2 frames clear with 10 minutes left. He'd have been very, very close. But now it's going to be all square. It wobbled a little bit, but realistically, there's no way that Alex O Donoghue was missing that. What a key moment this is.
So this goes wrong for Alex. He has to keep the white on the top cushion or the side cushion, and that flick on the yellow there just throws it across to the middle of the table, and he's given away the potting angle to Jordan Shepherd. It's a slightly careless shot to risk hitting that yellow in that way. Didn't cost him the frame in the end, though.
Is it also potentially a slightly careless shot from Jordan to end with the white ball there? If he'd have played it at less of a pace, he'd have had a more sort of natural shot on the black into that bottom corner, right?
Yes and no. I think it would have been difficult for him to. He'd have had to pot that his last ball at absolutely dead weight to be able to stay on the black to the corner, and I think that would have been very tough to do going across the length of the table. So I think he's accepted the fact that he gets the white into the bottom half of the table. There's a double that he expects to make. These great players expect to make those doubles regularly.
Alex O Donoghue at the table. 8.5 minutes left of this fourth set.
Just wonder whether Jordan can clip the yellow he's nearest to into the centre pocket. Off the black, potentially.
Hello. That's what he plays.
Yeah, that was a little bit careless from Alex once again in terms of a safety. If Jordan had made the long pot down the rail, then so be it, but he didn't want to leave him that shot. Fortunately for Alex, yellow stays on the table, and he's got a great chance here to get himself in front in this set.
Oh, this set's going to go down to the wire, isn't it? The last frame could be massive, but we could equally see a couple more frames which are just as big. Don't think anyone's going to get to 5. This will go down to 0 hour of this set. And whoever is in front, if it's Alex, he takes us to a decider. If it's Jordan, he wins the match. If it's halved, if we are level at the end of the next 7 minutes, each player gets half a point. And we play the deciding set, which Alex must win to take us to a black ball shootout. Every scenario still possible.
Frame.
We'll have roughly 6 minutes left of the set after these are re-racked. Jordan Shepherd will break. What he'd give for a routine break and dish and then put 5 minutes back on the clock.
Yeah, he's probably still thinking about that double that he missed, though, to go 3-1 ahead. It's a massive moment in this set, potentially a massive moment in this match.
Frame 6, Jordan Shepherd to break, trailing 3 frames to 2,
Big,
leading
big,
2
big
sets to
break.
1. Time running.
Well, it's going to come up dry.
He hit those too well to come up dry. It's such a brilliant break, and well, he nearly goes in off.
Oh, and we were right behind that. You can see from the disappointment in Alex's face, it's not the disappointment of the miss, it's the disappointment he expected to make that. That wasn't a sort of Hollywood plan. He'd have backed himself there.
He would have loved to have something easier to go at, though, off that dry break.
Don't get me wrong.
Just to, you know, he's ahead in this set. Okay, even if he doesn't go for a finish, get himself a colour set and get to work. He doesn't need to push the boat out. There is a little bit too long in this set to sort of start taking long on your shots and slowing things down, but you can certainly control a frame if you get to pot the first colour set. What does Alex do here? 2 yellows at the top of the table are a real problem. Yellow nearest the right centre pocket is a real problem. I think that's a good choice. Just slow things down. Try and make reds more awkward. Four and a half minutes on the clock now.
And that's what it could come down to in a frame like this. much time is going to be left at the end of it. Is there going to be any time left at the end of it?
Alex still has to solve the problem of the yellow by the right centre pocket. He could, if he wants to, just try and throw this one over the top right-hand corner, block off that red. No, he's gone. He's obviously got a plan for this red near the right centre pocket. He may be looking to go into it now. Key shot. If this goes well, this could be the set. Catches the yellow, it's perfect. Brilliant. Precision.
Well, that's the ideal scenario. The ideal outcome. And now it's opened up. A 2-frame lead at this stage should be enough. I will very deliberately use the word should. And Alex is absolutely taking all the seconds required.
Quite rightly as well. Run that clock down, use the full 15. He knows that Jordan Shepherd's capable of clearing up twice in 2.5 minutes.
What this may come down to is the break from Alex O Donoghue next. If he can pot a ball, should be his set this. But if he breaks dry and gives Jordan Shepherd an opportunity, there's a chance.
Jordan Shepherd broke off in the previous set in a similar situation and he slowed his break down. It wasn't a tap break, but he did slow it down. He wasn't going full pelt. He made sure he didn't make the white.
Frame 7, Alex O Donoghue.
He wasn't worried about getting a good split. He just wanted to make a ball and use up some time. So what does Alex do? Does he go full power? Or is it about half pace? Cut break, I suspect.
Yeah, it is a cut break.
Oh, the white's gone in.
Oh, well then.
Now you
and look how quickly Jordan Shepherd jumps out of his chair.
You go for the cut break more often than not. You say it's a break that the white is less likely to go in off because the white is going straight into the side cushion. He's a little bit unfortunate to pot the white in that situation, but oh, it sets up some drama at the end of this set.
Well, it's a good job he's got trainers on because he's going to do some running in a second. He's going to be flying around this table. Is it on?
I don't think even Jordan Shepherd can clear up twice from here. The balls have to be racked in this time as well. Yeah, it's a good, what, 20, 25 seconds for the balls to be racked, maybe even 30. Oh, he's missed. That is the set.
Yeah, that'll do it. Jordan Shepherd concedes. We go the distance in the quarter-final. This is turning into a belter. The 5th and final set is next. Welcome back to the Super Series on Free Sports. We go to a decider between Jordan Shepherd and Alex O Donoghue. Stephen James and Simon Webb still with you, and we'll be with you till the bitter end in this one. A massive final set coming up.
Jordan Shepherd to break.
Who do you back at this stage, Simon?
Time money.
Putting you on the spot.
I don't know. I think Jordan's under more pressure. I felt that all night long. I think it's still the case. And the way he's got to this stage, he started off edgy. He then found his rhythm. He probably feels he should have done better in that last set. He probably feels he should have gone 3-1 ahead, missed a double for that scoreline. So the fact that we're in this final set, I think Alex, if he can get off to a good start, he's putting Jordan under huge pressure, because you have to remember, Jordan Shepherd wasn't just the favourite to win this match, he's the favourite to win the whole event.
And Jordan has broken dry with a really good break. Similar to the last one in the last set. He's had a massive break and somehow not ended up with the ball down. And what it so often means when that happens, the other player comes to the table and has a golden opportunity. And at this stage of the match, every frame absolutely vital.
Left himself hampered queuing, tough pot, and quite a long way to go for position. Not ideal. Well, the fact that he can get to the centre of the white with him to go over the top of the red helps. Position isn't perfect, although He holds up the hand of apology because he's actually left himself a nice little angle to take this in the middle and develop the other 2 yellows. It actually couldn't have been a better nudge.
Yeah, that's come out so nicely for Alex, hasn't it?
Second nudge isn't as good as the first one, though. You see, not happy. I don't think he can see the potting angle of the yellow from the main camera. It looked like he could, but his reaction tells a different story.
Yeah, this all of a sudden a pretty tricky pot, this. Going up to the top right. That's a great recovery.
A roll away from perfect position.
Yeah.
Straight is absolutely perfect, but he has to go into this yellow, but it's controllable.
Yeah, he'd hope to send it a bit close to the pocket, just to leave himself an angle to get out.
Problems are growing, though. Guaranteed to go into the red on the right-hand side, not guaranteed to come out and have any sort of shot at the black. And it's not, I don't even know if he can sort of get to the bottom of the white and screw off that red. If he can, no, he's got to raise the butt of the cue. This is not easy. Oh, well played.
That's come out absolutely beautifully. In that scenario, Alex O Donoghue could have put the cue ball down for his next shot. He'd have put it there. Absolutely perfect. And frame 1 of the decider goes the way of the Don. What a shot this is.
I mean, that's exactly as he played it as well. There's no fortune in that. He's just control that shot off that red is so tough, so hard to do. It's so easy to get the white behind those reds. It's so easy to come too far up the table, have no shot on the black at all. No, it's a great shot. And it was a visit that you felt was always getting away from Alex, and he's come up with a big shot, got it done, and breaks off 1-0 ahead. And I said he needed to get off to a good start, put Jordan under pressure, and it could be massive. He's done step number 1.
Something about his break at the minute, though, it's not developing as much as he'd like. He's made a ball, which is, I mean, absolutely mission number 1. But following that, quite a few frames that have started like this, looking like this. This is a tough lie, but the more I look at it, the more I think the reds aren't absolutely awful, especially if those 2 that are together plant to the bottom corner, which they may well do.
Must do the way he's played that shot. Only question mark to ask is what happens to the red he's playing when he plays it. He needs to be careful that it doesn't squeeze between those 2 yellows. He needs to stay in the open, hopefully exactly where it is, and he can just screw back and take it next shot.
Yeah, that's your answer.
Oh, it's tight.
Doesn't like it. Doesn't like it at all.
This might need a little swerve on it, a little bit of side, just to straighten it up when he plays the shot. No, he's not. He's fine. Problem's over. Now he needs to just make sure. It's not perfect. You could tell he wasn't happy with the angle. He knew he was going to leave himself tricky on his next shot. And he either has to take the red to the centre and avoid the yellow on the bulk line and come back down the centre of the table, or take the red to the bottom corner and go straight into a yellow. So this is tough whichever way he goes. Oh, well played. Got into that really nicely.
Yeah, the black at the top of the table is a gimme, really. As long as you can see it. I'll pot it, no problem for anyone on the table. That was perfect. Alex O Donoghue is 3 frames away here when this drops For a place in the semi-finals, 2-0. That's what awaits the victor. Their name in lights in the final four. Potential clash with Mark Farnsworth or David McNamara.
Similar sort of matchup to this one. Mark Farnsworth will start that match as favourite, but Dave McNamara more than capable of beating him.
I have a feeling Jordan might put a lot into this one, but actually he's reverted back to the cut break, and that's as well as he's hit that all night.
Yeah, slowed it down a little bit. The only cut break he hit slower than that was the one when he was just slowing things down at the last final seconds of a set. He would not have hoped for a better split and a better outcome from that break. And key frame, really. All he's done so far in this set is break dry once, and that can happen.
It's a bafflingly good split from a break where he barely even seemed to cue through. Seems to be almost blasé, but by breaking standards, I mean.
Timing, timed them nicely. These fine cloths, you don't always have to hit with extreme power. Just good contact, good solid contact, nice timing. They can ping open nicely for you.
King's awkward hit.
Plenty of room to manoeuvre though. Just has to concentrate on the pot.
That was a big frame for Jordan Shepherd to win. 3-0 would have been comeback territory, really. 2-1 is just about going with breaks, and he's been in a fair few close scraps before. We have had a black ball shootout in one of his shootout finals. That was against Liam Dunster. He's been taken to the wire once before,
Alex O Donoghue
in a final at least, by Simon Fitzsimmons and Nadine.
Worth remembering, he was 2.5 minutes away from winning that match. 4-3 up with 2.5 seconds left on the clock, and when he touched the table one more time, unbelievable scenes there from Simon Fitzsimmons.
This is Alex's follow-up. Breaks dry. Jordan at the table. And smelling blood. Oh, that's a sloppy start though. He knows it. It wasn't the easiest of opening pots, but it's one you'd have really expected to make.
First mistake from either player in this crucial deciding set. Standard has just been ramped up a fraction. 3 straight finishes from the break.
We saw this from Alex in his last game in this tournament against Gav Robinson. He really just went up a level in the decider. Noticeably so. He got to the 5th set and you couldn't put a cigarette paper between them. It was so even, that game. And out of nowhere, Alex O Donoghue just found that extra gear. So far in this set, he's doing the same here.
We've seen that from a few players in this event so far, winning the crucial moments. A match of this length, you are going to have dips in form, you're going to have to ride a couple of mistakes, but when the match is on the line, it's when the players step up. That is what Alex is doing right now.
Yeah, if it goes the distance, there's no player in the world who can play for 2.5, 3 hours without making a mistake. It just doesn't happen. It does make for an enthralling Match up though. Alex O Donoghue here is going to go 2 frames away if he can sink this black. Which he can.
Frame.
Impressive stuff from Alex. Very clinical, punishing that mistake from Jordan Shepherd, and you can see he's upset, he's angry, he just wants to get going again.
(3-1) in the final set. Could so easily be 2-2.
Big frame, Jordan Shepherd to break,
that
trailing
shot
3
had
frames
dropped.
to 1, 2 sets all, time running.
Makes the ball with the break.
Noticeable that he's taken pace off his break. Worked on the last frame, worked on this frame. Oh, that's a slightly loose positional shot. He left himself too straight on this one on the top cushion. It's going to make his next shot tricky.
Oh, it wiped its feet, but that's some shot. That is some shot.
I was, at first glance, I was like, I had no idea what he was going to try and do, because it looked like he'd left no pot on. I was looking around the table. To cut that back is incredible. But he's been unfortunate. Yellow has, well, the red's been knocked over the pocket, making this yellow difficult. He had one of these earlier with a black, and he left it on the table. Same again.
Well, I have to think that didn't go, because he's jarred it almost perfectly between the cushion and the red.
It looked a little bit too tight to play the shot he was trying to. It's twice he's tried that tonight, and twice he's been unsuccessful. But make no mistake, the bad shot wasn't that one. It was his first shot where he left himself straight and nowhere to go, because all the yellows went when he made that break. Just had to find his route. It's not a gimme finish for Alex, and he's a little bit short of perfect position. He wanted to be on a red to the top right so that he could take the red and then come off the top cushion and just nudge and rest into the black just to knock it over the middle pocket. Can't do that now. Going for a double. And this time he has left the angle he was looking for. So the top red of the two. Might even be able to do it off the bottom one of the two, but I think the top one is the one he really would like to do it off, because it opens up the path for the red nearest the yellow. Yeah, well played.
Played that perfectly.
I thought it missed the pot for a second. It wobbled, but it's gone in, and it has opened up the path for this other red. And now the black is hanging over the middle pocket. That is a frame-winning shot.
Could be a match-winning shot.
It's just, if he slides by that, he's perfect. Now he's got a tricky positional shot. Well, it's got to do a lot of travelling to land nicely on the black.
Oh, well. Just had a feeling this match had another twist in it. Jordan has potted the yellow as you watch this replay.
That's a big, big let-off for Jordan Shepherd. 4,
isn't it?
4-1, and he is really, he's all but gone, isn't he, at 4-1? That's a massive mistake from Alex to let Jordan back in.
Frame.
I mean, the first question I have to ask you, Sonny, Did he have to take that option? Did he have to hit it that way? Or was there another route around? Because we've seen these middle pockets play tight. That seemed like such a pace to hit that shot at.
I think he possibly could have made the decision that he's left himself a bad angle. I'm going to make this in the centre pocket, and I am going to give myself a shot at the black to the bottom corner rather than the centre pocket. We've seen these middle pockets play very tight all the way through this event. The poor shot probably is the one where he didn't land nicely on his last ball. He had lots of room for manoeuvre and he just flicked the ball. So, yeah, maybe if he was having it again, he might decide to leave a harder black, but it's still a pot I expected him to make.
I was just about to say before Alex broke there that almost the unwritten rules of pool means that this next break he was about to hit came up dry, but he's defied all the momentum of that and has actually hit one of his best breaks of the match. In that, not only has he potted a ball, but he's got a better split than he's managed to get in a little while, it feels like. And these reds look open. He's still got the chance to go one away. He was nearly caught short of the shot clock there, but as long as he hits the cue ball before the 0 is struck, he's okay.
Red nearest the yellow, slightly awkward to land nicely on. I don't know whether he can just drop this in and play the gap, or whether he has to try and move into the yellow or try and come out into the middle of the table. You know, he could just slide by, take it to the top corner. That's fine.
This is such a big frame to win. Not just in terms of the obvious, and then it puts him 4-2 up.
Frame conceded.
And Jordan's conceded the frame. He wants as much time as possible. And these are the moments of this set so far where Jordan Shepherd will wish he'd had these back. This was the first one.
Probably the worst one as well. That was a poor miss from Jordan. He just made a breaking dish before that, and that would have been ideal because it would have gotten to 2-2 if he could have made that clearance.
Now then, Jordan Shepherd breaks straight. And Alex O Donoghue has a fantastic chance to win the match. That first shot wobbled. I think the shot clock caught him a little bit by surprise. He's okay.
You have to say that previous breaking dish from Alex was very impressive when you consider the mistake he made in the previous frame. To be able to come up with that break at that time and forget about a bad mistake, fantastic.
Well, Jordan Shepherd will play another shot. He might not have expected to be able to do this.
There was almost an air when he was walking away from the table that he'd played his last shot. From certainly looking at Jordan's face, he was like, oh, that's probably it. This may be a safety shot. No, he is going to go for the finish. He's going to play this yellow off the red just to spring open his bad ball. Oh, is he going to be on the next yellow? No, he is not.
Only got 15 seconds.
He's not just hitting it. Trying to stop Alex from having a chance to clear up is all but impossible.
Oh, is he going to hit that?
Foul. One free shot, one visit.
That could well be the favourite's last
Time out,
shot
please.
in this tournament, because this is as good an opportunity as you could ever wish for to win a frame in a match.
Yeah. Gets that yellow out the way. Get off the table, clear the road. Alex O Donoghue is now 5 shots away from having a black. to win the match.
Would have preferred to be straight on the red to the right centre and then work his way down the table. Because it's just far enough up from the middle pocket that he has to get himself up the table to be on it.
Just about enough angle to do that here, I think.
It's not ideal. He could have gone 2 foot further up the table and still been fine. Okay, there's still plenty of room, but I've seen things go wrong before. And it's just about, it's right in between. A roll less, it's fine. A roll more, it's fine. This is just about the worst spot it could have landed. It's still cuttable though.
This for the semis. It's there for Alex O Donoghue. Where's the whites? It's off the jaw and safe. Alex O Donoghue puts out Jordan Shepherd in the Super Series. We'll hear from our winner after the break. Welcome back to the studio here at the Super Series. We've just witnessed a fantastic game between Alex O Donoghue and Jordan Shepherd, and it's the Don who is taking the victory. Simon, before we speak to our winner there, first of all, what a game.
Fantastic game, swung one way then another. Both players played some great pool. We've seen some great shots, the odd mistake here and there, which always adds to the excitement for us. But I think what we saw was Alex doing the same thing he did in his first round matches. He found his best gear in the real crucial moment in that deciding set.
Yeah, and I think we're ready to talk to our victor now, our second semi-finalist, Alex O Donoghue. Alex, first of all, a massive congratulations, mate. How do you feel at the end of that one? Even the last shot, it felt like there was still something on it, still a few nerves creeping in, bit of tension.
I was drained. I mean, I missed the ball in the middle to go 4-1 up in the last set, and to be honest, the last finish was doddled, but I've just made an absolute mess of it, just trying to get over the line because of what's happened in the previous frame.
Congratulations, Alex. Great victory, but another victory against Jordan Shepherd. What is it about Jordan Shepherd? You seem to have a hold over him.
Honestly, I haven't got a clue. He's such a good player. It's just, I think on the tour, on the slow events, I've bogged him down a bit. But tonight, it was just scrappy. When I was 2-1 down, I thought I was gone, to be honest with you. I had no energy left. I managed to sort of stick in the 4th set. Then he started struggling with his break a bit, and everything changed then.
When you missed that chance to go 4-1 up in the final set, Alex, how pleased were you to be able to almost turn it back around and then get a break and dish almost straight away? You seem to be playing your best pool in the final set, which is, I mean, it's a pretty good habit to have if you're going to have one. Yeah,
the next frame was massive, to be honest with you, because they weren't, they weren't easy. It's a finish you're going to expect to get, but because of what's happened in the previous frame, after I've got that's settled me down massively then, because I'm thinking, obviously, when I've missed, it's gone 3-2, I'm thinking this goes 3-0, I'm in the soup, and just trying to hang on, to be honest.
Looking ahead to the semi-final, you've got Dave McNamara or Mark Farnsworth. Any preference? Are you going to be tuning into that game?
I'll definitely be watching it. No preference, to be honest with you. When you're in a semi-final, you're expecting to play, one of the top boys. Mark's obviously, one of the best players in the world, and Deej is coming up fast,
He certainly is. Well, we can't wait to watch you in that semi-final. Congratulations on a brilliant performance tonight, mate. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much to Alex O Donoghue. So, just try and put that performance into words there. It's such a big victory. It's not a shock in any way. That'd be a big discredit to Alex, but it is a slight upset in the sense that we're seeing Jordan Shepherd exit this competition at a stage we just haven't seen before.
We're not used to seeing Jordan Shepherd not make the final of these style of events, and the fact, not just that, the way he played in his first round match, I expected him to turn up here and play his best pool tonight, but we have seen Alex beat Jordan in the past. Alex is a phenomenal player, and it's no surprise to me and to anyone else in the pool world that he's able to win this match, because he is that quality a player.
Yeah, we take a look at the stats there, Simon. I mean, it's such a close game, isn't it? Total frames one doesn't tell you an awful lot, maybe an ever so slight edge, but the missed pots and the fouls is ultimately what ended up costing Jordan, particularly in a couple of those sets. The first one especially will be one that he feels got away from him. He could have easily, having lost it 5-1, could easily have won it the reverse way around. He made a few pretty key errors looking back.
He did. There's a lot of errors from Jordan Shepherd that you don't normally expect, and the statistic from Alex's side of the table is his break wasn't working. He was really struggling with his break tonight, and he mentioned it on interview there that when he went 2-1 behind, he felt he was gone, but his break almost that's where he found his best break. And then once he got himself into that deciding set, that's where he played his best ball. He made 3 finishes from the break in that set and was excellent.
Well, this is the standings as we have it. Still 2 more quarterfinals to come, of course, but Alex O Donoghue is into the semis. He joins Sean Storey on the opposite side of the draw in the semi-finals. And coming up on Free Sports, we still have 2 more quarterfinals, the first of which is on Monday. Do join us for this one. It will be a belter of that, I'm absolutely sure. The current world champion against the 2016 world champion Gareth Hibbert against John McAllister. That should be an absolute cracker. We can't wait to join you for that one. That is at 6 p.m. on Monday. We are joining you pretty much all of next week. By Thursday night, we will know our finalists. It won't have Jordan Shepherd in it. It may well have Alex O Donoghue in it. Fantastic performance from the Don. We'll see you next week.
This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.